Got the pen and the paper in your hand. Got the story going, but you wanted to expand. We'll help you on your journey, let us lend you a hand. Join the show. So let's write the book TV show. Grab your pen and paper and we're gonna let it flow. Talking about write the book TV. Join the show.
Hello and welcome to another segment of Write the Book TV. I am your host, Kimberly LeBou. I'm super excited about tonight's episode. It is the final episode of season 3. We made it. And we have another phenomenal guest, and I think this is timely as we are headed towards Mother's Day soon. And her book is all about motherhood, and it's a mother's guide to protecting her purpose. The title is Legacy Unlocked, and we have joining us Miss Juanita Woodson. Welcome to Write the Book TV.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. When I came across your book, I was like, oh, this looks really interesting. And the whole motherhood piece, we're all excited over here because we just won the award. Oh gosh, it's right behind me, but I don't want to turn around. It's right there. But it's for our book about moms called The Mom in Me. And
Yeah.
so when I got your title and started reading, I was like, oh, this is so in line. And so I'm just really excited to talk to you this evening. And so we're just going to jump right in. Just going to have a conversation about your amazing book and everything that you have going on. And so, as I said, the title is Legacy Unlocked, and it is a mother's guide to protecting her purpose. And so, Legacy Unlocked, first of all, is such a powerful title. And so, what inspired you to write this book, and why was this message important for you to share?
Yes, absolutely. Legacy Unlocked, it is so important for, I think, women, for moms to know that they don't have to wait until they're not here anymore
Yeah.
for legacy to begin, right? It's like legacy in motion. We get to live our legacy right now. And so that's what Legacy Unlocked is. So we have Moments for Moms, Legacy Unlocked. It's our growing community where we have different values. So Moments for Moms, our collaborative book. And last year we launched the Moments for Moms Legacy Unlocked conference. And then
Oh,
in
I love
March,
it.
we just hosted our second annual conference, our Legacy Unlocked conference. So it made sense, right?
Yeah.
I needed to tell a little bit more about my motherhood journey, right? Give mom some different tips that have worked for me over my life. My son turned 18 in January, gets ready to graduate next month in May. So
Nice.
I don't feel like I'm a pro, but I think that I've learned enough along the way to be able to just pour back into other moms and share a little bit
Absolutely.
about what I've gone through and what's helped me to protect my purpose. And then open doors for other moms as well.
I love that. I love it. And you said legacy in motion. That's really good. And so in the book, you talk about the fact that you became a mother at 18. And we know that that can shift the direction of your life in many ways. And so, how did that experience shape your understanding of purpose?
Yeah. So I think it took me quite some time to understand my purpose, right? It honestly, I've always had a love for writing ever since I was a little girl, right? So we always go back to those gifts that we naturally have as a
Mhm.
child, but it didn't really connect what my purpose was, I think until my son was about 4 or 5 years old, is when it
Mm.
clicked. Like, okay, I need to be able to share some of what I've experienced in motherhood and my gift, my love for writing, my love for helping people, put that into a book. So my first book, Don't Go That Way, it's kind of what was that launching pad for me to start sharing my motherhood journey. And
Mhm.
then from there, it clicked for me what my purpose was.
Nice. And so you also talked about the belief that I'll pursue purpose when my life slows down. And so, what do you think? So, why do you think so many mothers fall into that mindset?
I think a part of it is maybe not knowing what your purpose is, right? And then we hide behind the identity of I'm just mom, right? When we become a
Yeah.
mom, we just own that and we forget the things that we enjoyed to do maybe before we had children, those hobbies that we enjoyed. Like so many moms, they put down hobbies and your identity is just wrapped up in being a mom that you forget that you're Juanita, right?
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah.
that's it. Just not understanding your purpose is a really big reason why moms like just get tied up and I'll wait until life slows down. And honestly, as a mom, when does it really slow down?
I was getting ready to say, I mean, because a lot of it too has to do with the busyness of being a mom.
Yeah,
And it's like you can forget all about your hopes, your dreams, your wants, your needs because you're running from the sports practice to the ballet dance
all the
or
things.
whatever it is, the PTA or
Yes.
all the things and playing
My son
taxi
decided
driver and
he
Mhm.
didn't want to play football anymore. This may sound like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she said that. But when he decided that football was not for him, I was excited. Like,
I get it. Both my sons played football and they're 6 years apart. And so that meant that when the baby started playing football and the other
yeah,
one was older, that meant I was on the field all day long because the younger ones play in the morning and the older ones play in the afternoon. So I was spending 8 hours a day on the football field. So I get it.
I
I,
commend all the moms, the sports moms that can do the thing. Like when it rained down on us that one time, he only did football for a year. He just wanted to
oh,
try.
wow.
And we were outside and it just started pouring down, raining. And it was just so unfamiliar for me.
Oh,
I was just like, oh, wait, what are we doing? What is this?
yes, I definitely remember those days. Whew, child, we did it all the way from grade school all the way up to high school. So the
Wow.
whole full
Okay.
gamut. And then they played all the sports. I was like, when's the break come? We can't take a break because we got to be conditioned for when football comes back
For the
around.
next one, they basketball,
Oh,
football, then he did track.
yes,
I'm like,
all
whew.
the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, just leading right into that, many women lose themselves in their roles as mothers, partners, and caregivers. And so, how can a woman begin to rediscover like who she is beyond those roles?
Yeah. So staying connected to the source, right? Not to go too deep, but I think it's so
You
important.
can.
It is so important to stay connected to God, the person
Yeah.
that gave us our purpose, the person that gave us our children, right? Our
Mhm.
spouse, all of those things. Stay connected to Him so that we can constantly be reminded of who we are, right? He did
Yeah.
not just create us as mom. He did not just create us as an employee, right? He created
Hmm.
us to do so many great things. So staying connected to the source is
Hmm.
important. And do the things that you enjoy to do, right? So for
Yeah.
me, I used to love couponing.
Oh,
I
wow.
used to love couponing. So I would like do my coupons, go to the grocery store. For me, that was like a maybe a weird outlet to some people, but that was some time that I had to
Yeah.
myself to be able to enjoy doing those things. So don't feel guilty for taking 5, 10,
Yeah.
15 minutes to yourself, right? To do the things that you enjoy to do.
I wonder, do people even coupon anymore?
I don't know. I
I
don't. And
remember there was a whole TV show
yes,
coupon and that
I
coupon.
had the binder, all the things,
Yeah.
and I don't do it anymore because I don't
Mhm.
know where you even get newspapers and things from. Like, yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
the coupons. But yes, that was like whole TV
It
shows
was
and
a whole thing. I remember that. I remember that. And so in your book, you said, I love this. And so I marked this part. The same God who entrusted you with your children also entrusted you, yes, you, with gifts, vision, and a voice that still matters. You are not required to shrink to succeed at motherhood. You are invited to expand into the woman he designed you to be. And so I love that passage. So I
yeah.
put that down. And
I
that's
think
so true.
it's so important because as women, especially if you're a woman, maybe in the corporate world, sometimes we feel like, if you raise your voice, you enunciate your voice too much, you got to shrink back because they think that you're loud or maybe that you're what's the word that I'm looking for? I don't even want to say the word ghetto, but they
I
just
get
think
it.
that if you stick
Yeah.
up for yourself, that maybe you're a combative person, you know what I mean? And I
Hmm.
think that so many women just forget that their voice matters,
Yeah.
right? Your
Hmm.
voice matters. The Lord gave you that voice not to shrink somebody else. also needs to know the things that you know, right? The things that he put inside of you that you maybe overcome in motherhood
Absolutely.
and marriage and friendship and business. People need to know. So don't be afraid to use your voice, even if it doesn't sound like everybody else's. And I think that
Hmm.
comparison thing is really what causes women, mothers, to shrink back because we think our
Yeah.
voice or our purpose doesn't look like or sound like it's not in the same box as everybody else's. So we just think that
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. And that's just not the case.
Yeah. And so I'm going to pause to say hello to our viewing audience. Pamela Nance said, great passage from the book, right? Wasn't that a good one? I like that. I have another one marked too. I got to figure out which part because I only put a card in it. I didn't mark it. I'm gonna find it though. But panel said don't shrink. So thank you guys for joining us on Write the Book TV. We are here talking to author Juanita Woodson, and her book is Legacy Unlocked: A Mother's Guide to Protecting Her Purpose. And so, what does it look like to actively walk in your purpose while raising children and managing everyday responsibilities?
Ooh, absolutely. So if you are a mom, you know what that looks like, right?
Hmm.
For some people, for me in the season, it was getting up early, making lunch, right? Dropping you off at school, then going to my corporate job. And then from there, when you get home, that looks like making dinner, logging into school, right? Because at one season I was enrolled in school. So it's
Wow.
just constantly making sure that while everybody else is good, that you don't forget to do the things that you set out to do. And it's important because your children, they need to see you accomplishing things, right? So
I agree.
my son with my first book, he got to go to vendor events with me.
Hmm.
So I'm actively walking out my purpose in motherhood. He can see that. Now he wants to be an entrepreneur and own a business because he saw the things that I was doing. So that's actively walking out your purpose in motherhood is allowing your children to see you succeed, but also letting them to see some of the failures so
Yeah.
that they can learn and grow from that too. And setting
Yeah.
boundaries like time, what is it called? Time blocking, right?
Yes.
You can't do
Hmm.
everything at one time. So just learning what needs to be prioritized is very important when you're trying to create that balance.
I agree. And I was in entrepreneurship. Like, I guess I've been in entrepreneurship ever since my kids were born. I was always doing something, right? And it's funny that over the years that my kids are all the way grown now. And, when I see them pursuing their business ventures or I see them on stage speaking or something, and I always say, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you. This just makes me so happy. And they always come back and say, we got it from you, mom. And I was
Yes.
like, oh. And so yeah, I agree that it's important to pursue those things, but I also know that it was really difficult. I know just for me to strike that balance because I was trying to do all the things, but they were things that God put on my heart to do. And so just trying to figure out how to be mom over here, how to be entrepreneur over here, sometimes was a little taxing, but I am grateful that they took the lessons and they saw, like you said, the successes and the failures. And so I think that is super important. And so I found my other passage that I wanted to mention. So this was in chapter 2, where you said, there were moments when I looked at my life and wondered, did I miss my moment? I questioned whether taking a different route than others my age had somehow disqualified me, but God gently reminded me delay does not mean denial. His timing is not punishment, it is preparation, and God does not waste anything. I
Oof.
love that so much.
Yes. And just with you saying that and reading it out loud for me,
Mhm.
that like it clicks for me, right? So I had my son fresh out of high school. I didn't go to 4-year college like my peers and things were doing, right?
Mhm.
So for some people that may, and maybe even me in the season, I was like, okay, what am I going to do? What is my purpose? Who am I going to be able to help, right?
Mhm.
A PK. So I look at, man, I didn't do it the way that Christian people are supposed to do it, right? I went down a different path. Will God still use me? And so I look at where we are now,
Yeah.
and God doesn't waste anything. So if I wouldn't have had my son, I wouldn't have my testimony, right?
Mhm.
And then I also wouldn't be able to lead like multiple women to write their own stories, get their testimony
Yeah.
out, lead a successful conference 2 years in a row, a magazine where moms can share their story, right? So he doesn't waste anything.
Amen. That is so perfectly said. Let's see. Andrea is watching. She said, "Hey, Juanita Nicole Woodson." And
Hi.
Cynthia Miller said, "Self-care is so important." And yes, it is. I need to do more of it.
Yes.
And so in the book, you mentioned creating rhythms of grace instead of chasing balance. Can you explain what it looks like in real life? Because I was just talking about that, trying to strike that balance.
Yes. So I think when I first started out like in business, right, I would say yes to a lot of things. And I would say
Mm.
yes to things that God probably was like, I didn't tell you to do that. You're carrying more on your plate because you're putting it there, not because I
Mhm.
intended that for you. So when I think about rhythms of grace and balance, it's once again staying connected to the source and seeking
Mhm.
him in all things. Is this a engagement that I need to accept? Is this a project that I need to take on? Can I
Mhm.
accept more hours in the workplace right now, or is it going to drain what I'm
Mhm.
supposed to still carry in my home, right? My first ministry is
Yeah.
still my home. So staying connected to the source, like God cares about the smallest things. He cares about how we put our hair up, the glasses that we wear, the clothes that we pick out. So
Mhm.
because we know that he cares about the smallest things, like balance is possible when you stay
Mhm.
connected to him.
That's true. That's true. Let's see. So let's talk the subtitle. The subtitle speaks about protecting your purpose. And so, what are some practical ways that women can guard their time, their peace, and their calling?
Ooh.
She said, "Woo."
Learn to be okay with saying no,
I
right?
love that so much.
That is such a major thing. As I just mentioned, like I think I said
Mhm.
yes to a lot more than I needed to take on.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes from not wanting to disappoint people, right?
Hmm.
We continue like pouring our cup out and pouring our cup out and not refilling it. So learning to say no, and that's okay. And how you say no is important, right?
Yeah.
You still want to have integrity with how you say no because character still matters. Like God cares about all things. So
Hmm.
learning to say no, giving yourself 5 to 10 minutes to breathe, to woosah, right? So
Yeah.
I would like work on my lunch breaks. And now I'm just
Yeah.
like, take
No.
a break, sit down, do what you need to do for you for 30 minutes to an
Hmm.
hour. And then community is so important. Like God did not put us here to do life alone. So that's what I would say.
Nice. I love it. I love it. And so, you address in the book that relationships that either drain you or develop you. You talked about that. And so, how can women discern the difference and make the necessary adjustments?
Yeah, so that's where that learning to say
Learn
no,
to say no.
learning to say no, and it's an equal pour, right? There's a balance. We can learn from each other. We're pouring equally and building one another up. But if you feel that you're in a situation where like you're doing all the pour, all the press, all the sacrifice, you really need to go and seek God and ask him if that's what he intends for you in that season. And he will also tell you exactly how you need to move away from those
Yeah.
certain situations. So
And
like
sometimes he will move you
and
or
sometimes
move them or it.
absolutely,
Because a
yes.
lot of times we try to hold on to the things that he tries to tell us to let go of. And then
No.
all of a sudden he creates a situation that just kind of takes it away.
Yeah, you have no choice but
No
to,
choice.
it's over. So let it
Yeah.
be what it is. And I think that when you trust him to let it be what it is, there's a sense of peace there. Because
Hmm.
when we try to hold on to things, then that's where that tension can build. And then now you
Yeah.
have a fallout that wasn't, that was messy and it didn't need to be. So trust him when he says
Mhm.
this season has expired.
Whew, child. Yeah. And so you say legacy isn't just what you leave behind, but what you live every day. And so, how can mothers begin to intentionally live out their legacy now? And I so love this part.
Yes. do the things that God created you to do. There's so many, if you go to, maybe people have heard this analogy, but in the graveyard, there's so many gifts that are just there because people, I'm gonna wait till tomorrow. I will put it off till the children get older. No, like do the thing. If God told you to write the book, you need to go and write the book, make the necessary sacrifices, right? We make the sacrifices for our children to be in sports, to have the shoes that they want, the clothes that they want. Make
Mm-hmm.
the sacrifices that you need to make so that you can do the things God called you to do. Because we're supposed to enjoy the fruit of our labor.
Yeah.
I personally do not believe that, only future generations will be able to reap the benefits of me walking in my purpose. Like we're supposed to see that now, and we're supposed to be able to see our children and our grandchildren experience that
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah, that's so important. I love everything about this because, like I said, I was one of those people who I was trying to, some things might have got sacrificed along
Yeah.
the way, but, I was determined to, try to pursue my purpose and do the things that I felt like God had called me to do. And like I said, I may not have always balanced things well,
Either.
but I certainly did try. And like you say, nothing is wasted. And so I just love your message to moms to not just sit by and say, I'll make it happen later. Corinthians talked about giving yourself grace. And so I literally did have to give myself grace, because when your kids grow up, they tell you all about yourself.
They do. And one thing that I noticed is that there's sometimes a sense of resentment that you get when you get older and all this time has passed. Your children are
Yes.
on with their own lives, doing their own
Mhm.
things, and then like you're the person that's there, just like, okay, what do I do now? Who am I now?
Yeah.
Your identity was so tied up in
Amen.
being mom that you forgot who you are. So now you have to go and you have to relearn that again. So
Yeah.
it is okay. It is not selfish to
Yeah.
take care of you, to walk in your purpose as a mom. I think we just have to get over that. Oh, it's selfish. It's not.
It's not, it's really not. And I know people at, at the age I am now, in retirement, and I see people who I worked with in past years, not really knowing what to do, I'm gonna retire and then do what? Like, because everything was tied up in that identity of being in corporate or being a mom and never really tapping into, well, what are my gifts? And like you said, I don't think we should be waiting until we're in our 50s and 60s to try to figure out what our purpose is and what we're good at. I agree with you that we should be figuring those things out along the way and pursuing those passions along the way. And so I just think your message is super, super important. And so for the mother who's watching this, who feels like she's lost herself or put her dreams on hold, what would you say to encourage her to step back into her purpose now?
Yeah. So I would say go do something for yourself once a week, right? 30 minutes. If you like to crochet, start taking a crocheting class. If you like to write, go pick up a journal and just start to write. You don't have to go and do like this big grand thing. You can start small. Those small
Yeah.
ones, they really do move you forward. So set aside intentional time for
Mhm.
you to invest in you. That's what I would say, because we have to take that baby step first.
Yeah. I think it was maybe like, it's probably like back in 2013. So, like years ago, I remember I challenged myself to do this challenge for a year. And I called it my personal courage journey. And so I was going to do something every month that I had never done before. And so, I mean, I did everything from, skydiving to learning how to swim in my 40s,
That's me. I need to learn.
baking a white potato pie. I hadn't done that. I had never baked at my old age at that time, had never baked a turkey in my own oven. So I had my mom come up and she showed me how to bake a turkey in the oven. But just first, like things that, and it could be something really small or it could be something really big. That was the year I got braces. I was like, I'm tired of putting it off. I said, when my kids get out of braces, then that's when I'll get mine. And so that's what I did. And so just things that, like you said, we just put off. I'll do it when. And
And
so I just took that whole year, and each month I found something different to do. And so I would challenge people to even think along those lines. And like I said, it doesn't have to be anything big, but
yeah.
just challenging yourself to do things, because that's where you find out, what are my likes? What are my dislikes? Like, am I crazy? I jumped out of a plane. Like, I will never do that again.
Okay, I was
But
gonna
I did
ask.
it.
That is something I am afraid to do. I keep telling my
Oh,
husband,
I was plenty
I gotta
afraid.
swim. So I think that's on
Yeah,
the
I
couch
was
of
very
now.
afraid, but I did it. And it was one of the best decisions that I've made in my life, because it changed the way that I saw fear. It changed the way that I thought about fear. And so you just gotta challenge yourself and
Yeah.
go do stuff. And so
Yeah. Cool.
I'm
Just that you enjoyed that. That is one thing I'm like, oh, I can't. But I do like my thing. I want to learn how to swim, and my feet. I think when I do that, it will help me overcome. I'll see fear in a different way.
Mhm.
So yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Because when I did that, I mean, I was terrified of swimming. I didn't have a problem like putting my head under the water, but I was one of those people who, I never believed that the water could actually hold me up. I was like, this just doesn't even make sense to me. How is water, like, how people floating out here? And I remember that first day, and I don't want to scare you, but our swim instructor, he was like, anything you do in 4 feet, you can do in 10 feet.
Oh
And
no.
so we would
I'm
practice that.
only 4'11", first of all.
It didn't matter. And so he made us go in 10 feet the first day. He's like, anything you do down there, you can do. And it was great. But I can say, I mean, I can learn my life. I'm no Michael Phelps or nothing right now, but I
Yeah.
can see my life in the pool. Yeah, I just think we have to take the time to hone in on our own gifts, our own talents while we're doing motherhood. So I so love your message. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to get you on the show. And like I said, this is our last segment of season 3. And so, is there anything else that you want to impart to moms who may be watching? Because, like I said, we're headed into Mother's Day, just to kind of encourage them.
Absolutely. So I would just say to the mom, your voice, it definitely does matter. And I often say this, your purpose is not just for you, right? There is someone who needs your purpose, what you've learned, the things that you can instill. So definitely don't shrink. Use your voice. Somebody needs it because your purpose is not just for you. And then just keep showing up, right?
Yeah.
Do those hard things and just keep
Mhm.
showing up. So consistency is a big difference maker in our lives. So just keep showing up. If you
Yeah.
fail today, get up again and try again
Right
tomorrow.
again. I love that. Wow, this has been a great conversation. So I want you to tell everybody, where they can find you on social media, how they can get a hold of this beautiful book, Legacy Unlocked, A Mother's Guide to Protecting Her Purpose. And I heard you mention other works that you have. So how can people connect with you?
Yes. So my website, of course, you can connect with me, www.graceforpurposeco.com. And then I am on Facebook, Juanita Nicole Woodson. You can also connect with me on Instagram. It's underscore Juanita Nicole underscore. And where else? Yeah, those are the main places you can find me. My website first, because you can subscribe, you can get my books there.
Awesome. That's great. All right, guys, you heard it here. Go to her website, follow her moms, especially. She has some great insight and some great information. And from what I hear, some great things going on over there. So check her out, follow her, and get a hold of her book, because it's really great. And thank you so much for being our guest tonight, Juanita.
For having
Thank
me.
you to our viewing audience for joining us for another segment of Write the Book TV. This wraps season 3, so we'll see you guys here for season 4. And thank you so much for following us. You can always connect with us on writethebooktv.com. Thank you so much, and take care and be blessed. It's been a blast this season.
Thank
Good
you so much for
night.
having me.
Absolutely. Take care.